Hey guys, I am back with yet another Breyerfest prep video, surprise, surprise. So, I am leaving in 10 days, and I have a ton of crap I still need to do. I am so glad you cannot see my floor right now. It is literally just like boxes and just bins and bubble wrap, and it's really bad. So I figured today I was going to do a video on the chin. So, obviously our first question is, okay, what is the chin? So, if you're an old-time collector like me, you'll remember that the host hotel that Breyerfest had was called the Holiday Inn North. So for years and years, we kind of just referred to that as the Inn. And then in 2010 or 2011, I believe, it might have been 2011 was the first time, the Clarion, I have a slight Boston accent, so I say Clarion. The hotel was bought by the Clarion hotel chain, so it became the Clarion Lexington. But since old habits die hard, we kind of just tacked a C onto Hin, and it became the Chin. So you either have people referring to this hotel as the Chin or just the Clarion. Now there's a bunch of stuff that goes on at the Clarion, including the swap meet and the Artisans Gallery and all that, but what I'm going to talk about today is the room sales. Now the room sales are something that you really can't explain fully unless you've been there, because it's just one of those things that you can't fully wrap your mind around unless you've seen it in person. So basically, it's just this giant hotel with almost entirely model horse collectors staying in there, and people open up their rooms, and in their rooms they have a bunch of shelving and everything, and they have all these models for sale. So it's basically like Plastic Pony heaven. There's everything from a couple dollar bodies up to multi-$1,000 artist resins in there, so you can literally find anything. And it is an absolute blast. I've stayed at the hotel every single time I've went to Breyerfest. I've sold and just bought. It is an incredible experience, and I highly recommend you guys stop by at least once if you're going to Breyerfest. So I have a few quick do's and don'ts about going to the Chin and shopping. It's definitely a hugely overwhelming experience the first time you get there, so I'd highly recommend just kind of thinking about these when you're there, and hopefully we can all have a grand old time shopping for plastic ponies at Breyerfest. So let's get started. Do be polite. I hope this is common sense, but I figured I'd put it in just in case. Just use your manners. Tell a seller, please, thank you. Say hello when you walk into their room, especially if there aren't that many people in there. Again, I hope that's common sense, but I'm putting it in there just in case. Don't rush. I know when you get there, it's just one of these crazy, like, mind-bending experiences, like, oh my god, I can't believe this is real. But please just don't run in the halls, calm down, don't run into someone's room and like pick up models left and right, I nearly had a heart attack last year. I had a little girl run into my room screaming about seeing a Sato from the hallway. So she comes in, runs in, is like, Sato! Rips him off my shelf. Entire shelf kind of like wiggles, and I'm convinced I'm gonna have a giant domino collapse, and I just nearly had a heart attack. So please calm down, don't rush. It's been likened a lot to an MC Escher drawing. Get a hotel map. Now, this hotel is notorious for being just insanely difficult to navigate. I highly recommend either getting a physical paper map that they have at the hotel, or if you download the free Breyerfest app, that contains a hotel map of the Clarion. It's incredibly easy to get lost. In 2010, I found myself lost in the 500s and 600s for a good half hour. I just straight up could not find the exit, and it was not fun. So definitely get a map and study it. Don't pick up another person's models without permission. Now, some sellers are a lot more lenient with this than others, but honestly, it's just polite straight up. Especially if there's a sign near certain models saying, please ask before picking up. Please ask before picking up. One of the tables in my room I specifically use for more expensive models or more rare models, and I had a sign right behind them on the wall that said, please ask before picking up these models. Throughout the entire weekend, I think maybe 10 people asked out of literally hundreds that went through my room. Even if it's just a stupid $10 regular run, it's straight up polite. They're not yours, so it's just a simple act of respect to the seller. Do get to the hotel early. In the past couple years, the Clarion's actually been closing the hotel lot after a certain amount of time, and you have to physically show your room key to prove that you're staying at the hotel. I'd say try to get there before like 6-ish each night, and apparently they do open up parking out back, but obviously I don't know because I've literally always stayed at the Clarion, so I don't know about driving in from another hotel. There's a few other parking lots like Denny's and stuff around there, but you might get towed, so just keep that in mind. Don't be afraid to make offers, but at the same time, don't lowball. So obviously when a seller brings a lot of horses to sell, it's kind of obvious that they want a lot of them to go. So say you have like 2 models, and one's like $25 and one's $20. Ask the seller if they'll take $40, because chances are they probably will. They get 2 horses out in one go, they didn't lose too much money on it, and they're happy to see you happy. But at the same time, don't be like, will you take $20 for your web special, Riley, that's worth $150? Because I mean, that's just rude. Don't be that person. Please, for the love of God, do not be that person. Do take notes. Again, this can also be done in the new Breyerfest app that they have out on Apple and Android, or alternatively, you can just use a physical pen and paper notepad or just your notes app on your phone. So say you walk into a room and you see a model you've been looking for, or even just a model that catches your eye. You can open up that little notepad or notes app or whatever. So say it's like a Pecos. It's in room 405. So you just do like 405 Pecos, $25. And then, you know, if you want to mull it over a little bit, and then you can just open up your apps and say, okay, I want to go look at that Pecos again, so you're not sitting there thinking, was it 405 or 504? You have it right there in front of you, and you can head right over to the room and get your model. Don't go into blocked off areas in a room. Personally, and I know a lot of sellers who do this as well, we'll block off a certain area of our room just to like keep our own purchases in, or just have our own little place to kind of work on stuff. Say like you're finishing up your diorama contest entry or something. I use my big bins that I store my sales models in, so I block off the end past the 2 beds. You would be surprised how many people literally physically climb over the stack of 2 giant bins to go look at the stuff over there. That should be a big, huge red flag saying, hey, I don't want you to go back here. Please do not go back here. This stuff is not for sale. So if you see like bins or chairs or people physically blocking some certain area of the room, please just assume that they do not want you there, that is their own personal space to put stuff. But if you're really not sure, just ask the seller. Don't just clamber on over there when you can physically see that there's a barrier, because that is rude. The seller is making it pretty obvious that that is their space that they do not want other people to go in. So take a hint, please. Do check back often. Obviously, sellers will rotate inventory throughout the days. I'd try to go at least 2 or 3 times throughout the weekend. Room sales probably start as early as Wednesday, and they go all the way through Sunday night. Most sellers use their Saturday night as their last day, and pretty much everyone is there who's selling by Thursday night. Inventory rotates if you're looking for a certain special run model that you missed out on your tent time. I'm sure a lot of sellers will have that day, and there's obviously different attractions like the swap meet on certain nights. So definitely try to go, I'd say, at least 2 or 3 times across the weekend. Don't leave a good deal behind because you will probably regret it. You're sitting in a room and there's a model there that you really want, or it's at a really good price. You're just sitting there mulling it over thinking, oh, should I, shouldn't I? Let me tell you this from experience, just buy the damn horse. You won't regret it. There are so many horses that I have almost bought at Breyerfest, and I didn't, and then I went to get them back, and they were gone, and I've since regretted it. So if you see a good deal, just grab it while you can. Do bring something to carry purchases in, including packing material. Even if it's just some little tote bag or anything with a few little pieces of bubble wrap, just so you can have something to keep all your purchases together, especially if you're not staying at the hotel. It helps a ton, but at the same time, if you do have a backpack or a bag or whatever, please just be aware of your surroundings, especially if you're walking into a room and there's shelves everywhere. Just make sure it doesn't hit anything or knock anything over. That's a very important thing. Don't block hallways or doorways. When there's a ton of people in the Clarion, there's just no space. So don't just dilly-dally in someone's doorway waiting for your friend or whatever. Please just stay to the side of the door so traffic can keep flowing. It gets incredibly crowded in there, especially these last few years. So just be polite to your fellow collectors and make sure to let traffic move normally throughout the hallways. And finally, my last do, have fun. It's literally one of the most incredible experiences ever for a model horse collector. As I said, it's just one of those things that you cannot really imagine until you've physically been there. It's an awesome experience. You'll get a ton of awesome horses. And if not, you'll at least get to see a ton of awesome horses. I highly recommend making it a part of your Breyerfest experience, especially if it's your first time. So that's basically all you need to know about the Clarion or Chin or whatever you want to call it. I am signing off to continue with my Breyerfest prep. If I don't see you within the next 10 days, I will see you in Kentucky.